I'd like to bring to order February meeting for the Denali City Council. Please stand for pledge allegiance. I'd like to allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Karki. Councilmember Becker.
Yes.
Councilmember Howard.
Hello.
Councilmember Ilmanen.
Present.
Councilmember Flowey.
Here.
Number 4, approval of agenda. Get a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Okay, seconded by Matt.
Either way.
So all those in favor say aye. Aye. Against? Okay. Number 5, public hearing. 3 minutes each, so, you want to take part in public hearing?
Public comment first. Sorry.
Public comment. The public comment, 3 minutes each, so, yeah, feel free, Jeff.
Okay, Jeff Plummer, Negaunee resident, I'll just keep it really short. I just wanted to inform the council and the public that we did file a petition recently with the city clerk, 208 signatures we collected. And I'll just, real quickly, so I don't take up too much time, I'll just read the language that we submitted, just the basics of it. We, the undersigned, qualified and registered electors, residents in the city of Negaunee and the county of Marquette respectfully petition for referendum to reverse the amendment to codified ordinance number 156.031 that was adopted by the city council on January 18th, 2024, which allowed 5 acres of Old Town to be rezoned from public area district, PA, to multifamily residential district, R2. We ask the city council to reverse this decision or put it on the ballot. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Anyone else for public comment? With that, I'll close public comment. So, number 6, we have now, right, number public hearing. So, 6.1, ordinance amendment 94.04, tree ordinance, second reading. So, Anna, if you would, Rebecca.
This amendment will incorporate the wording for the tree owner's manual for the Tree City USA designation. Hold a public hearing, recommendation, approve the second reading, and adopt the ordinance amendment.
And with that, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone can comment on it? Okay, with that, I'll close the public hearing. So, I guess,
Make a motion to approve the second reading and adopt the ordinance as amended. Support.
okay, any word, John, or Cody on it?
Nothing.
Okay, John?
No.
Else?
What is this really gonna change from where we were to where we're going?
Mr. Mayor, I can answer if you would.
would. Yes.
Basically, we had to adopt, that user manual within the ordinance to qualify to be a Tree City USA. Without that, we couldn't. So that just provides standards, in that manual, how the city will take care of its trees in the public parks.
Is it just the public parks or all,
Public parks only.
so it doesn't have anything to do with trees around the streets or?
Trees on the streets are technically within the public's realm. We technically own those trees. Would be on private properties, we have no control over trees,
Okay.
unless they're dangerous, so.
Okay, with that, so take a vote, so all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Yes, it passes. Number 7, unfinished business. No unfinished business, so we'll go number 8, new business, 8.1, Ann Street, Sioux Court Lift Station Pump. Ann, if you would, please.
City of Negaunee Water Sewer Department is in need of a spare pump to serve as a backup for the Sioux Court and Ann Street lift stations. Currently, the city has 6 lift stations, 3 of which have adequate backup pumps in the event of a failure. City staff received a quote from Crane Engineering for a spare pump to serve as an adequate backup for 2 more lift stations. The vendor, Crane Engineering, $17,256 was the quote. Recommendation, it is recommended from city staff that the city waive the bidding process and accept the quote from Crane Engineering in the amount of $17,256 for the purchase of a spare pump for Ann Street Lift Station and Sioux Court Lift Station. Crane Engineering provides assistance, service, parts, and repairs for all of the city's lift stations. Fiscal effects, for 2024, $40,000 was budgeted for repairs and maintenance of the sewer system. Alternative, none recommended.
Council?
I'll make a motion to adopt that.
Matt?
Where we gotta have the city staff waive the bidding process and accept.
No, we had the second motion first.
Oh, sorry about that.
Second that.
Is it Toby? Okay, so. With that, I guess, Matt, any comment, Matt, you're.
Well, we're gonna be up to our waist and waist if we don't, make sure we got the spare pump, so, I don't think, you know, we should go without it.
Okay.
That's it.
I've got nothing to add.
Okay. So, anyone else? Yeah, to me, it's pretty cut and dried, money's there budgeted, so that's, Mr. Howard said. Okay. So, all those in favor say aye. Against? Okay. 8.2, USDA draw number 13, Phase 1 water project. Pass that forward.
Enclosed is a resolution requesting USDA funding draw request number 13 in the amount of $11,307 to UPEA. Recommendation, approve USDA draw number 13. This is for the Phase 1 water project.
Make a motion to approve USDA draw number 13 in the amount of $11,307.
I'll second it.
Any comment, John?
No, it's just part of the process.
Okay, Matt?
Gotta be done.
Okay, so on that, we'll have a roll call vote for this, all right? So, oh, I'm sorry. Hey, any,
We didn't have
come
any
for the horse.
discussion. We didn't have any discussion.
Yep, any, we did, yeah, no, totally, anyone else that got comment on? Okay. Okay, with that, we're gonna have a roll call vote, I guess, all right?
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Becker,
Yes.
Councilmember Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Ilmanen,
Yes.
Councilmember Flowey,
Yes.
Mayor Kangas. Motion passes 6-0.
Eight point three, US DOT raise grant resolution.
City of Negaunee will be submitting a $1.5 million grant application to the USCOT Raise Grant Program for the purchase of 2 one-way plows and 1 loader with a SnowGo municipal snow blower. This is a reimbursable grant. If the city is successful in receiving the grant, the equipment would be purchased with monies from the equipment millage and the major street funds, and the grant would reimburse the city for the purchase. The resolution before you is a required document for the submittal of the grant.
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Support.
Toby, anything?
No. Be
John?
beneficial to the city to receive 1.5 on equipment that we could definitely use, so.
Agreed, it's a reimbursement, so you get it, get the money back.
Okay. Anyone else?
Is that a guaranteed we get the money back, or we're just hoping we get the money back?
Mr. Mayor, can I answer if you like? So the grant, it's a grant and it's a reimbursable grant, so yes, it'd be guaranteed. And before we would even, purchase anything, we would be in a grant agreement, so we'd be able to read that to ensure that that's the case.
Anyone else? Okay, so,
We'll do a roll call on that one.
we'll do another roll call on that.
Councilmember Becker,
Yes.
Councilmember Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Ilmening,
Yes.
Councilmember Flowey,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Kangas.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, 8.4, Marquette Landmark or Marquette Land Bank Agreement, Vista Roof.
This agreement was approved by the council at the January meeting. Since that time, the land bank has requested additional changes. Attorney Pickens will be available to give an update on those changes.
Yeah, so we were here last week and we talked about the land bank agreement. The land bank agreement is that they got, 435,000 in change, I think, in, funds that, have been earmarked for the Vista Theater, roof repairs. Nagani has agreed to pick up the remaining costs from another grant. I think it was, a $3 million grant from the state of Michigan. And the land bank wanted assurances that they were, only on the hook for the extent of their grant. And in the last agreement, that we brought for you, I told you this might be an issue, but after their board took a look at the agreement, they said, we would really like to ensure that, the architect and, design plans, that, I think what Northern Design has submitted, are part of the Nagani's obligation under the agreement. They didn't want to pay out their monies, that they agreed to, and then also, I think it's like $16,000 for the architect, engineering work, and so they wanted that specified in this agreement, that Nagani was also going to, ensure that those costs would be covered by the city pursuant to their grant funding. The other change in that agreement is the date. It changed from January to February. And the termination clause, you'll note that the termination clause states that if they do not proceed with the roof repairs, that they can terminate this agreement. So those are the changes from the last time you guys saw this. But other than that, it's identical. Yeah, I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Is there a final blueprint of what the building's gonna be when it's done?
If there is, I don't know. It'd probably be a question for, Northern Design.
We get a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve the agreement.
I'll support it.
Okay, Toby?
My only comment is this is no, this just solidifies what our intent was and what we agreed to in our previous meeting, that they were held to what their grant was for the $435,424. It doesn't change our decision point at all in my mind, so.
John?
My question is just, are we gonna have any issue making that deadline to get into a contract by August 1st?
I'm told there is no issue there.
Okay.
But that's, again, between land bank and the contractor.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, from what I understand, the contractor's ready to roll.
Mm-hmm.
Just a matter of, frost issues with the road and a couple other things that are going on, so, there'll be some kind of pre-con meeting coming up, I'm believing fairly soon, so, we'll keep you, abreast of what's going on, when we get closer to that circumstance.
And I guess it just as one more point of clarification, this is strictly has to do with the roof. This has nothing to do with other repairs, maintenance, remodeling, rehab to the building. This is just to get the roof back on the building.
Correct.
Thank you.
Anything else? Matt?
To put a new roof on that building, won't they basically have to start in the basement? And like put in all the, whatever supports they need to get to the roof, cause I don't think the brick is just gonna carry it.
Mr. Mayor, I can attempt to answer that question. I guess, from what I understand, Land Bank has hired the same engineering and architectural firm that we have hired to do the remodel, and the rehabilitation of the project. They're licensed, so they will come up with the roof design, and, whatever those parameters may be, they're licensed engineers, so they'll know what's best. It appears that the plans are made for the roof because the bid's already set and awarded. We can get you a copy of that if you'd like to see that.
Don't we have an engineer on the payroll that can save us some money here?
Well, our engineer is a civil engineer, not a structural architectural engineer, so there's a difference in that. Mr. Mayor, we do have David Nelson here available to answer your questions. It appears he may be able to add some additional information for you if you allow him to speak.
Okay, if you would, Dave?
Yeah, so part of the roof project is also cleanup in the theater itself. So right now, the plan is Primo will hopefully be starting come this construction season. The plans are already available for the roof. They're developing their scaffolding plan because they're gonna have to do scaffolding as well as cleanup to, you know, make sure they're doing it all properly. So once the roof is on, you know, it'll all be cleaned up as well. So there's actually temporary protections inside of the Vista. That's also being removed once the roof is on as well. So it's not just putting the roof on, it's also cleanup as well. And some asbestos abatement as there was a little bit of pipe wrap found, so that's also included as well. So it'll actually kind of, you know, just make it an open, clean space for when we do start developing the full-blown plans for the actual revitalization. And those will be brought before the public and shared and discussed, and we'll be gearing that project up probably March, April. But it's gonna, with the cleanup involved and the roof construction project, we wanna make sure it's all clean and we can really identify areas that will need to be worked on when we do the full-blown revitalization.
Thank you, Dave. Any other comment? Okay, so with that, all those in favor of, all those in favor, say aye, I guess. Aye. Against? Okay. 8.5, land swap agreement, as I was trying to say before. Land swap agreement, Porter Limited LLC.
I'll defer to the city attorney.
Yeah,
Of course, Jeremy.
absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. So we've been approached, by Porter Limited LLC about a possible land swap, here in the city. I think, we have a map for the parcels that have been suggested. The treasurer, has evaluated the parcels and found them to be, of relatively, equal value, and so we do meet the criteria for doing this. And so in doing our due diligence and kind of working through, some of the details of what this would involve, it's come to our attention that there's, some maybe not encumbrances is the right word, but encumbrances on the to be received property to the extent this deal would go through that, prevents the seller, in this case Porter Limited, from disclosing certain information about the property. And, they got the property from CCI. And so when I recognize that, that's there, I have a little heartburn, I guess, for lack of saying it a better way, because, we've gotta be, you've gotta be able to explain to the public what you're doing and, what the property entails. And so what I suggested was, well, let's negotiate directly with CCI and see if we can lift that, non-disclosure agreement, that Porter Limited has to adhere to, so that we can do this in the, in the daylight, so to speak. And they also have a requirement for an indemnification agreement, so if, for instance, in this case, CCI or someone else would get sued because the information about the property, whatever that may be, is disclosed, the buyer, in this case Nagani, would have to make them whole again. Not knowing what the issue is, I'm, again, have a lot of heartburn agreeing to an indemnification agreement as part of this land swap. So my thought was bring it before the council, and the manager, and, get some direction, because it seems like a good project, it seems like it would benefit both parties. But at the same time, we need to kind of figure out a little bit more detail before I can give it my blessing. And so, if you guys want, I can explore this a little farther with CCI's council, and see if they would be willing to kind of give us some more information and let us kind of evaluate this further before we proceed.
Is a motion in order to,
I think
Move
that,
you
I think a
forward.
motion would be, it would give me peace of mind. But again, nothing will be done, without this council's, approval, so this is kind of the first step in the process to ensure that we know what we'd be getting. Maybe city manager can weigh in a little bit.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if you would give me a little latch to explain why we're even considering this for the overall, council and also for the general public. So over here on this map, which shows, very similar to the maps we've been looking at in recent weeks and months, Old Town property holdings is basically everything in the white shaded area, and then the property that just was rezoned in the yellow. And then here are two properties, they're nearly 40 acres in size. One square is 40 acres. This is almost two full halves of the square. This property has some of Woolly Pond on it over in this part, and also has several bike trails, or at least one that goes through this property that a lot of people use in, for Ramba and other resources. So our goal would be to trade the property on your other map that you have, to get these properties so we can preserve this parkland and then have it added into this. And we talked about this at the last meeting, how this recreation land is important to us. This is what we intend on looking at preserving for our economic development in the future. So this is adding in potentially 40 acres of property to the benefit of the public. I do agree with the attorney as well. We need to know what's going on with that property. Who knows? That's something that we need to know to make a good decision, and the public deserves to know if they're gonna be taking on any liability, perhaps. Any questions about the map, or any questions that you have, Mr. Mayor, to the attorney to further?
So the area in red, if we kind of leave it as is, it would still be used by people to ride through with their bikes and what have you, but and a little confused on this. They can continue using it for recreational reasons, but is it like they're using it at their own risk? Because CCI is not really saying, this is what's on it, and they're kind of like, almost like, sounds like they're holding back information type of thing? And am I anywhere close on
Well,
that?
I would
or-
say that just from being back here myself, and I bet you many people can attest to this as well, I don't think there's anything that would just like fall on you, or you're gonna fall in a hole or down a pit or something like that. And I don't think they would be able to hide that disclosure. Generally speaking, those type of disclosures could be related to environmental concerns potentially, so we have no clue, so that's just purely speculation. But yes, people could use this for recreation, as long as the owner allows us to do that. Right now, there's a user agreement with Ramba to allow the public to utilize that property, and many people beyond Ramba use it. They go fishing back there and other things of that nature. So the public has been very fortunate to have a beneficial user agreement here with these properties. But that owner could sell that property or decide one day that, no, I don't want people on that property anymore. It's too much of a risk, or I'm gonna develop it, or I'm gonna do something else to it. In the best interest of preserving our economy and the recreational assets that are right here, it may be advantageous for us to trade properties in order to include this into the Old Town holdings.
So in the best interest of keeping it, that people could keep using it and such, it would be, you know, for, like you say, a land swap for activity property that, so it would be we would, like, we would then get it, or?
So if they swap the land, the city of Negaunee would own this property, and the public would then own it.
Yeah,
The other piece of property that we own currently, we'd swap with them, we'd cease owning that, and the new owners would own that property.
okay, got it.
So, the yellow up there is the land that was voted on last month to sell it to a private developer or to develop it in some way?
The land that was, voted on last month was to rezone it for housing. There is no developer currently, there's no development agreement currently, but it was rezoned to potentially have a housing project on it, correct?
Well, there's no reason to rezone it if you don't plan on building something, and I'm wondering why, if we just got rid of that piece, are we considering taking on more? And it sounds to me like it could be a chemical waste dump for what they're telling us here.
Well, we don't know what it is, so let's not jump to
Well-
conclusions.
When somebody says there's, you know, some problems with it, I'd say there's more than some problems with it. but-
99% marshmallow back there. It's a big pond, beavers, ducks, swans, geese.
One thing to note, Mr. Mayor, if I may, if the city were to get the property, if the council and the public, were to think that this is fine, the city would not have any intent on developing or going beyond what's there now. You got wetland issues, as Mr. Illman has said. In addition to that, there's one bike trail, so it's very limited. In addition to that, we would be trading it for recreation, so there'd be no reason to develop it beyond that. That's basically all I have to say about that, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Matt?
What about the land that we want to trade for this? What's on that land? And
Mr. Mayor, that land would be.
I know there's a map of it here, but it's.
That land is,
It's kinda hard to, I mean, it's not the most clear map as to where all the roads are and some of these, are they railroad tracks or are they roads?
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
So if you look at the third map, it's a little bit bigger drawn in, the roads are outlined on here. The roads would not be sold to the company, or they'd be, still remain in the public holdings, as right of ways. The land is what I would consider, rolling hills and forest land. You can see where it's near. It's kind of by the railroad tracks, but still a distance away from them. The company I know that is interested in buying this or trading this would most likely partition this off into smaller segments and probably sell for housing. Maybe they only do it into 3, who knows? But this house is zoned, or excuse me, this land is zoned for housing out here, so.
Is that the Y in the road, rolling mill going to Lucy Hill? Or am I?
No, that's, no, this is further out.
Yeah, that's okay.
Miller Road, right, correct, Steve, on that?
Buffalo Hills.
Buffalo.
Yeah, just south of Buffalo, right by the border, between Negaunee and Negaunee Township, so it's all the way out on Buffalo, but then south.
Is that like across the railroad tracks into the dirt road there or
Yeah,
back in that?
back in there where it kinda jumps up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it jumps, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, so tonight, we're only asking to get information from Cliffs on this property, and then when we come back, with information, should we be able to gather that information, then we can determine whether we should move forward on that, I believe, and then we can determine, value on that, and whether it's equal trade, so on and so forth.
So I guess that's the.
So just one other clarification, I mean, essentially, all the other property that's Old Town, we're under a similar hold harmless kind of agreement with Cliffs, anyways, right? I mean, it's like, we have no idea what's under there, but the way we're using it, it probably isn't a big factor. We're not digging into the dirt, we're not,
You got it.
building, yeah. That's all I had to say.
make a motion to, allow the city manager and city attorney to further investigate the, property land swap and, come back at another date with the decision.
Your second?
I'll second
that. Okay, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay. Number 9, consent agenda, 9.1, minutes, January 18th, 2024, regular minutes, 9.2, claims and accounts, 9.3, revenue expenditure reports, estimated trial balances, 9.4, poverty exemption and asset test resolution, 9.5, downtown development authority. So, motion,
Motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Jody, your second?
Support.
John? In favor, say aye. Aye. Against? Okay, now we're back down to number 10, public comment. 3 minutes each. If you want to comment, feel free.
Yeah, it's, I think just a recommendation I would have, with the land swap is the city, from what I recall, had passed on buying this land. We were first offered this. It's a beautiful piece of land, and I think people do use it, and if, I would be curious to know why the city passed on it, and so that to me might be a little bit of a red flag. I don't know. I mean, all of us, at least I know I can speak for myself, would love to see more recreational land. But currently, the 5-acre piece is the one that's in contention with our petition too, and that might be a problem going forward when you have, as far as I understand, we're in a quick learning curve here. We did a petition and it was a lot, and even, to be honest, even at both the city and county level, it was hard to get information, not for anything, there was no obfuscation, it was just a learning curve that everyone was on. You know, there haven't been petitions like what we're filing in a long time, I don't think, and so it was just a matter of timelines getting back to make sure, and a lot of the information we had to go on michigan.gov sites and learn it ourselves. But from what I understand is when you file a petition in a city, any type of move like this will get put on hold until that's resolved. That's my understanding of it. I'm not a lawyer, so I just wanted to say that, and that it's a beautiful piece of land. It's probably not super developable for residents because it's in a big floodplain and in a marsh area. But I would wonder why the city didn't buy it initially. That would be my curiosity. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Anyone else? Okay, closing public comment. Okay, number 10, council members. Let's start with, Mr. Flowey.
Nothing for me tonight.
Okay, Shulmanen?
Nice job to city manager, everybody involved in, Heike Lunta this past weekend. Councilmember Illman had way too much fun, so, it was definitely a good weekend. It was, we had warmer temperatures for our winter fest than they did at Pebble Beach, California for the golf tournament, so
Yep.
it was a good winter fest.
Okay, Mr. Howard?
I think Heike Luda went off pretty well. There's a lot of people in town, that's always good to see, hopefully lots of money flying around. Too bad that old man Winter didn't show up for the Winterfest, I guess, but, I understand the, fishing derby was changed to a different date. I could be incorrect, but that's what I heard, and hopefully it will freeze up enough that nobody gets hurt or falls through the ice. And, I believe the, city manager has started his new contract now, and I can't wait to see what kind of truck he buys with all that money we're giving him. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Okay, Mr. Smith?
I've got nothing tonight. Thank you.
Okay. John?
Nothing to add.
Okay, well, speaking to a question that, Mr. Howard had, the fishing derby, I talked to a lady who was up at the South Shore, was it South Shore Fishing,
Association.
whatever that name of the name of the bit, group, it's changed to 24th. So the fishing to resume on February 24th. So they're gonna have something on Teal Lake this year,
Yeah.
so that's cool. And like what Mr. Ullman has said, I wanna take my hat off to, the DDA. Did an excellent job on the, Heikilunta today, or Heikilunta this past weekend. Wanna say thank you and good job to all the city staff for looking for snow to making a rail jam hill. Did an outstanding job. And it was, like, Mr. Howard said, there's a lot of people in town. I guess the police said there's like upwards of maybe 2,000 people at the fireworks, so that's pretty darn impressive. It would be nice to have a little bit more snow for the winter, but, well, they say it's supposed to be El Nino winter, so, well, I guess it is, so, I guess it's fitting the definition. So, I guess for myself, that's pretty much all I have for this evening, so, city manager?
Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you for the comments for Heikilunta. Very successful event. Not only did we have a lot of people down for the fireworks, but we also had all of our businesses that were open, full and very busy, very profitable weekend for them. That's why the DDA does this, to help businesses during this time of year. We're looking forward to having another successful Heikilunta again in 2025. Just want to say thank you to all the businesses, all those staff, fire department, police department, and DPW that help make that possible. The only thing I have left, Mr. Mayor, is there was a press release put out today by my office that we'll be holding a series of listening sessions here at the Senior Center for seniors to discuss housing trends and housing desires that they like to have in the city of Negaunee, related to the property and also other properties within Negaunee. I believe that our best option is to provide senior housing to start. If seniors get out of their homes in Negaunee or in the local area, that will open up their homes, which have a tendency to be a little bit more affordable for families or professionals moving in the area. So we'll be looking to take advantage of the opportunities that the state of Michigan has announced with their budget, potentially coming our way, and other federal funds that may be available as well.
City attorney?
Yeah, real briefly, just following up on my little orientation slash civics lesson last month. I was approached by a couple people about vacancies and filling vacancies, particularly on this board. And I just would like to refer everybody to section 3.1 of the city charter, which talks about vacancies in general. And so to the extent that the council does want to proceed with trying to create a vacancy and fill a vacancy if one is necessary on this board, the process is laid out in your city charter there. But I would recommend that it be on the agenda for a meeting and that we would have a fact finding that would support one of the reasons for a vacancy in section 3.1 for what it's worth. Because again, I had a couple questions, so I just wanted to follow it up. Mayor, I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so on that,
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Okay, second by Matt, okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, against,